Have you ever, stared at your screen, looking at an AI chat window, and you type in what you think is this brilliant, highly detailed prompt?
Oh, I know where this is going.
Right. And you hit enter, and you still get back a response that just sounds like a soulless corporate robot.
Oh, yeah. It's just packed with words like delve and synergy and, I don't know, rich tapestry.
Yes, exactly. The rich tapestry thing drives me crazy. You tell it to write a simple, friendly email to your clients, and it hands you back this bizarre, overly formal essay. It is just so incredibly frustrating.
It really is. I mean, it feels like you are constantly fighting the machine just to make it sound like a normal human being.
Exactly. And, well, that frustration is basically the launch pad for today's deep dive. We are unpacking a really fascinating transcript from a live workshop today.
Yeah, specifically an ABT AI coaching session, right?
Right. And the entire mission of this workshop is to teach you how to cure that awful, generic AI voice.
Which is something I think everyone listening needs right now.
Oh, 100%. So today, we are going to demystify what an AI skill actually is. We're going to understand how to train the machine so it stops giving you robotic outputs.
And maybe the best part, learn how to chain these custom skills together to create a hyper-personalized automated content machine.
A machine that actually sounds like you. But before we get to the automation magic, we have to talk about the foundational problem.
Right, what the instructors in the workshop called the amnesia problem.
Yes, because think about it. Every single time you open a standard AI chat window, it wakes up with total blank slate amnesia.
It has literally no idea who you are.
None. It doesn't know who your business is. It doesn't know who your target audience is. And, it certainly doesn't know that you hate using exclamation points.
Which means you're basically forcing yourself to start from absolute zero every single day.
Yeah, which is a massive waste of time. So the instructors point out that the only way to solve this amnesia is to stop using standard open chat windows.
Right, you have to start building what they call a skill.
And depending on the platform you use, these actually go by a few different names, right?
Yeah, so if you are on the paid tier of ChatGPT, like the $20 a month one, they call them custom GPTs.
Got it.
In Google's Gemini, they're called gems. And in Claude, they refer to them as projects or skills. But the underlying architecture is exactly the same across the board.
Okay, let's unpack this because I want to make sure I'm getting this right. Are we basically pre-programming our personality into the machine so it stops shooting from the hip every time we ask it something?
What's fascinating here is that that's precisely what it is. A skill is essentially a permanent, saved set of instructions.
Like a cheat sheet for the AI.
Yeah, exactly. It's a highly structured repository of your specific rules, your required tonality, brand guidelines, all your underlying processes.
The analogy they use in the workshop is so great for this. They say relying on a standard AI chat is like hiring a ghostwriter to write your autobiography.
Oh, I love this part.
Right. But you refuse to tell the ghostwriter anything about your life. You just lock them in a room and say, write my story.
And of course, they're going to panic and write something incredibly generic they have nothing to go on.
Exactly. But building a skill, on the other hand, is like creating a master mold in a foundry. You do all this incredibly hard, meticulous work of carving that mold once.
And because you took the time to build the mold, you can just perfectly replicate the final product 1,000 times.
Without ever having to lift a chisel again.
Right. And that master mold concept is vital because the true value of AI for any professional is not just generating text. I mean, generating text is easy.
Anyone can generate text.
Right. The real value is generating branded, cohesive text at scale, stuff that actually sounds like your brand.
Now, when it comes to picking the foundry where we are going to build this master mold, the source material is really specific.
Yeah, they have a very strong preference.
They do. They strongly recommend using Claude over ChatGPT for this foundational skill building.
Why is that? I feel like everyone just defaults to ChatGPT. Well, it comes down to how the different models process their system instructions in the background. ChatGPT is heavily optimized by its creators to be this overly eager, broadly helpful assistant.
Like a golden retriever.
Exactly. And because of that underlying training, it has a tendency to slide back into its default, slightly generic assistant voice, even when you give it custom rules.
Oh, so it forgets your rules and just goes back to being the robot?
Yeah, it just can't help itself. Claude, on the other hand, is architected differently. It adheres much more rigidly to the psychological depth and the nuanced linguistic patterns you provide.
So it actually listens to the background instructions.
Right. If you want the AI to retain a highly specific, subtle persona over a long period of time, Claude is just far less superficial.
Okay, so we know we need to build a skill. We know Claude is the preferred tool for the job. But the part of the workshop that really caught my attention was how they actually suggest building this skill.
Yeah, the method is brilliant.
Because they don't tell you to just sit down, open a blank document, and start typing out your entire professional life story.
No, that would take forever.
Right. They use a workaround that almost sounds like a paradox to me. They use AI to build the AI.
They create what they call a skill builder template.
Yes. They literally open Claude and type in the prompt, build me a skill builder template.
It's so clever.
They instruct the AI that its only job in the entire world is to build other production-ready skills. It acts like an interactive intake form.
Yeah, so when you want to create a new skill for your business, you don't have to write any code. You don't have to stress about prompts. You just talk to this skill builder.
And the mechanism here is crucial, right? The skill builder doesn't just instantly spit out a block of code.
No, it actually pauses. It acts like an inquisitive intern and just starts interviewing you.
Which is wild.
It is. It asks you, like, what is the specific job this new skill should do? What is the context of your business? Who exactly is the target audience we are trying to reach?
I have to admit, when I first read this section, my immediate reaction was to push back a little bit.
Really? How so?
Well, I hear using AI to program AI, and my mind just goes straight to some overly complicated digital inception scenario.
Ah, yeah, I can see that.
Like for a listener who just wants to save an hour writing your weekly newsletter, isn't setting up a robot to interview them so they can build another robot completely over-engineering the problem.
Well, you would think so, right?
Yeah, like why not just write a prompt that says, hey, write like me, I'm a real estate consultant.
Because humans are honestly notoriously terrible at articulating our own intuitive processes.
That is painfully true.
Right. You might think you know how you write, but you likely don't realize the specific syntax you naturally use or the subtle psychological levers you naturally pull when talking to a client.
We don't know what we don't know.
Exactly. If you try to just write that prompt yourself, you are inevitably going to leave massive blind spots.
Ah, I see. So the brilliance of the Skill Builder template is that it removes the technical burden of prompt engineering from your shoulders entirely.
100%. The AI knows what kind of data an AI needs to function properly.
That makes total sense.
By interviewing you, it basically extracts the necessary psychology and rules out of your head, and then it formats those rules perfectly into the specific language that a large language model fundamentally understands.
So it forces you to think deeply about your goals, but it does all the actual translation work for you.
Exactly.
But, okay, even with this magic skill builder at your fingertips, the instructors highlight a massive trap that they say almost everyone falls into.
Oh, the omnipotent skill trap.
Yes. Once you have the ability to build custom skills easily, the immediate temptation is to just build one massive catch-all skill. You want to build a skill called My Business Writer and use it for absolutely everything.
Which completely neutralizes the exact advantage you just gave yourself.
Right. The transcript is highly explicit on this point. The secret sauce to making this whole system work is hyper-specificity.
The riches are in the niches, as they say.
Exactly. And the workshop leans into real estate examples a lot, since that's the instructor's background. But they emphasize this logic applies universally to literally any business or creator.
Right. It doesn't matter what industry you're in.
They warn you to never build a generic skill meant to just, write a blog about Malibu.
Because Malibu is just way too broad. There's no psychological depth there.
Right. So instead, they guide the users to have the skill builder create a highly niched skill. For example, a skill exclusively tailored for, say, 55 and older homeowners looking to downsize in East End Ventura.
Or, a completely separate skill just for young families moving from out of state to Northwest Peoria, Arizona.
So what does this actually mean for you, the listener? I mean, does trying to appeal to everyone basically guarantee that you end up appealing to no one?
If we look at the underlying mechanics of how search engines and AI models operate today, the answer to that is absolutely yes.
Because the internet has changed?
It fundamentally has. Search behavior is completely different now. People are no longer just typing two vague keywords into a Google search bar.
Right. They're talking to their phones.
Exactly. They are asking complex, highly specific, conversational questions. And crucially, AI engines are looking for highly specific, localized answers to serve back to those users.
And a generic Malibu blog skill just doesn't understand the nuance of what a 55-year-old downsizer is secretly terrified of.
But a highly niched skill does.
Right.
When you build a skill specifically for that demographic, the AI internalizes their entire psychological profile. It knows their specific pain points.
It knows the questions they have about, like, property taxes or moving logistics.
Questions they might not even be saying out loud yet. The instructors note that to do this right, you shouldn't just have one writing skill. You might eventually have 6 or 7 different specialized skills just for handling content in one specific geographic area.
Wow. But, okay, having the perfect psychological profile doesn't actually matter if the AI search engine can't even see your text.
This is such a critical point.
Right. You could use your amazing niche skill to write the most brilliant, empathetic, highly targeted piece of content in the world.
And it will be completely invisible.
Yes, invisible if you don't structure it for a machine's eyes.
Which brings us to a massive paradigm shift discussed in the workshop. We really have to stop thinking of Google as the only game in town.
The landscape has already shifted right under our feet.
It has. The instructors point out that ChatGPT is currently the number 5 most visited website in the world. Gemini is in the top 15.
And platforms like Perplexity are just growing at an exponential rate.
Exactly. These AI platforms are the new search engines.
And the critical realization here is that AI web crawlers do not read articles the way you and I do.
No, they don't appreciate a beautifully crafted, slow-burn introduction that eventually meanders its way to a thoughtful conclusion.
Right, they don't care about your prose. They don't read linearly at all.
They use a process similar to retrieval augmented generation, or RA.
Okay, what does that actually mean in plain English?
Well, they are scanning billions of pages rapidly, looking for vector embeddings, which are basically just mathematical representations of concepts.
So they are doing math, not reading.
Right. They are looking for direct, authoritative answers to specific questions so they can synthesize a quick response for the user.
So to survive in this new ecosystem, the instructors outline the exact formatting required for AI visibility. Like, this is how you format your content so the web crawlers actually pull your data.
And it is a very specific formula.
It really is. First, you have to place a clear summary at the very top of the page.
Right away. And second, your headers can no longer be those clever abstract titles we all used to write.
No more puns.
Exactly. They must be formatted as direct questions. The workshop notes that major publications like the Wall Street Journal are already actively deploying this tactic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if you look closely at their digital formatting, their headers mirror the exact questions users are typing into search bars.
Because when you format a header as a direct question, you are basically handing the AI crawler the exact mathematical match it is looking for.
Exactly. You are feeding it what it wants.
So that's the summary in the headers. Third, you need a bottom line summary at the end of the content.
Wrap it all up neatly.
And fourth, and this detail fascinated me, you must include an FAQ section at the bottom, but it must be limited to exactly 3 questions.
The precision of that rule is so important.
Yeah. Why exactly 3?
Because when you ask an AI to generate an FAQ section, its default behavior is to over-deliver. It wants to please you, so it will happily write 7, 8, or 9 questions.
But why is that a bad thing? Doesn't more information mean more chances to be found by the search engine?
You would think so, but not in semantic search. If you have too many FAQs, you actually dilute the semantic density of the page.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the AI crawler gets confused about what the core focus of the article actually is. It's too muddy.
I see.
By limiting it to exactly 3 highly relevant questions, you force the AI to concentrate the SEO value. It makes it crystal clear to the crawlers exactly what authoritative knowledge this specific page contains.
I have to jump in here, though, because looking at this rigid list top summaries, direct question headers, bottom lines, exactly 3 FAQs,
Yeah.
doesn't formatting everything for a robotic web crawler completely strip away the creativity of writing? I mean, are we just surrendering the art of communication to an algorithm?
You know, it is entirely natural to feel that way. It sounds incredibly restrictive.
It does.
But the instructors frame this in a way that is actually quite profound. They argue that structure liberates creativity.
Okay, you're going to have to explain that. How does boxing myself into rigid bullet points liberate me?
Because you weren't the one doing the boxing. Right. The AI skill is handling the rigid, SEO-friendly scaffolding. It automatically ensures the formatting is mathematically optimized for page one visibility on Perplexity or ChatGPT.
So the machine does the boring structural stuff.
Exactly. And because the machine is handling the structure, you are freed up to focus 100% of your energy on the creative part.
The fun stuff.
Yeah, injecting your unique perspective, your local expertise, and your actual human experiences.
Which the source material emphasizes is still completely mandatory.
Oh, absolutely. You cannot skip that step.
They are very clear that you do not just blindly copy and paste what the AI generates and publish it to your website or your Substack.
No, that's a recipe for disaster.
Right. You have to review it, you have to verify the facts, and you have to add your distinct human flavor. The analogy they use is that the AI builds the house perfectly to code, but you still have to pick out the furniture.
That's a perfect way to put it. And when you combine the AI's structural perfection with your human expertise, the timeline for seeing actual business results just collapses.
What do you mean?
Well, the transcript notes that SEO strategies that used to take a year of consistent posting to achieve page one visibility, those are now happening in a matter of months.
That is mind-blowing.
It really is.
So, okay, you have this perfectly formatted, perfectly targeted piece of text. In the old days, that was the finish line. You hit publish and you walked away.
But according to the workshop, this single blog post is actually just the starting line.
Right. It is merely the first domino in what they call the content multiplier effect.
And this is where we cross the threshold from using AI as just a basic tool to actually commanding AI as an autonomous agent.
The workshop demonstrates how to chain these custom skills together, and the workflow they show is staggering. Let's walk through exactly how this works.
Let's do it.
It starts with raw material. Let's say you just drop a messy, rambling transcript from a YouTube video you just filmed into Claude.
Okay, so skill number one takes over. It knows your brand voice, and it knows the required formatting we just talked about. It instantly converts that raw transcript into the perfectly optimized blog post, complete with the top summary and the 3 strict FAQs.
But you don't stop there.
Yeah.
You immediately hand that completed blog post over to skill number 2.
And skill number 2 has a completely different job.
Right. It reads the blog and extracts a punchy, highly engaging 60-second video script specifically designed for the pacing of an Instagram reel.
Wow. Then skill number 3 activates.
Like a relay race.
Exactly. Skill number 3 reviews the blog. It references the brand fonts and hex color codes you previously uploaded to its knowledge base, and it generates the text and design concepts for a multi-slide Instagram carousel graphic.
And finally, skill number 4 sweeps in, synthesizes all of that material, and writes a polished conversational email newsletter to send out to your client base.
It's unbelievable. From one messy transcript, you get a blog, a video script, social media graphics, and a newsletter.
And what historically would require, like a marketing coordinator, a copywriter, and a graphic designer collaborating over several days,
is now being produced by a single person in under 10 minutes.
I mean, I hear autonomous agents running my marketing workflow, and my immediate thought goes straight to quality control.
Sure, that's a valid concern.
Because if I am chaining 4 different skills together, and the AI is essentially just passing the baton to itself, how do I prevent the machine from hallucinating some crazy offer I never approved? Or just going completely off the rails by step 4?
Well, that is exactly why we spent so much time discussing the master mold at the very beginning of this deep dive.
It all comes back to the foundation.
It does. If you try to run a multi-step workflow in a standard open chat window, it will absolutely hallucinate. It will lose the plot by step 2.
Right, because it has amnesia.
Exactly. But because you are utilizing tightly constrained, highly specific skills, the guardrails are hard-coded into the system. The AI literally cannot deviate from the underlying rules you established with the skill builder.
So the quality of the autonomous output tomorrow is entirely dependent on the quality of the foundation you build today.
Precisely. The workshop instructors refer to this as AI becoming agentic.
Agentic, meaning it has agency.
Yes. You are basically building little robots that will soon run these entire multi-channel processes autonomously while you go get a coffee.
That sounds like the dream.
It is the dream.
Yeah.
But they offer a very sobering caveat. Achieving that effortless reality tomorrow requires immense patience right now.
So you can't just click a button today and have an agentic marketing department.
No, you have to do the reps.
You have to do the reps. The listeners who are willing to sit down right now, engage with the skill builder, meticulously define their target niches, and really refine those formatting rules.
Those are the people who will successfully command these autonomous agents in the future.
And the people who refuse to build skills, who just keep typing generic prompts into ChatGPT.
They are going to be left completely behind, wondering how their competitors are producing hyper-localized, multi-channel content at a speed that seems humanly impossible.
It really is a masterclass in leveraging technology to scale your actual identity.
It absolutely is.
So let's just take a breath and recap the journey we've been on today. We started with the universal frustration of AI amnesia, where the machine forgets who you are every single time you log in.
And we solved that by learning how to build permanent skills, shifting from those standard chat windows to customized master molds.
Right. But we didn't build them manually. We used an AI skill builder template to interview us, brilliantly using the machine to extract our own psychology and program the new skills for us.
Then we explored why general prompts are fundamentally dead and why the true advantage lies in niching down to hyper-specific psychological profiles.
Profiles that perfectly match the intent of localized search. Next, we broke down the exact formatting formula required by the new AI search engines.
Right. Utilizing top summaries, direct question-based headers, and strictly limiting ourselves to 3 FAQs to maximize that semantic density.
And finally, we saw the near future of agentic AI.
Yeah.
Where chaining these highly constrained skills together creates a compounding multiplier effect.
Turning a single transcript into a week's worth of multi-channel content in literally minutes.
It really is incredible to realize that you are essentially building a digital clone of your professional self. I really hope everyone listening feels equipped to open up Claude or Gemini today and start building that very first foundational skill.
But, before we wrap up, there is one final, pretty provocative thought that emerges from all this source material that I think is really worth pondering.
Lay it on us.
Well, we have just detailed how to perfectly train these AI skills to sound exactly like us, right? We are teaching them to format just like us, to use our tone, our specific cadences,
Yay.
and to answer complex local questions with our exact level of expertise.
We are curing their amnesia so effectively that they basically become us.
Exactly. But at what point does this digital clone become so efficient, so perfectly trained, and so ubiquitous across all your blogs, your newsletters, and your social media channels?
Oh, I see where this is going.
Right. At what point does the clone actually become the primary way the world interacts with your expertise?
Now,
And if the AI clone is doing all the talking, all the writing, and all the marketing while you go get coffee, what does that ultimately mean for our actual offline selves?
man, that is a fascinating question. So the next time you log in to chat with your brilliant amnesiac assistant, just remember, the memories and the skills you choose to give it today might just become the voice the entire world hears tomorrow. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Go build your first skill, and we'll catch you next time.